So the Eternals are a group of 10 super beings selected by the Celestials, who are these very enigmatic, godlike creatures, to protect the Earth from deviants, who apparently, for whatever reason, want to destroy all intelligent life. But the Eternals are there to basically allow intelligent life, that's humans, to flourish for centuries and centuries and centuries. But eventually they seem to get rid of the deviants and go into retirement and split up. And the film traces them getting back together, taking on the deviants again, and of course, being a Marvel movie, there are a few twists and turns along the way. So how good and how bad is this? Well, it's really a split brain kind of thing, because there are a lot of weak moments, no doubt about that. That explains a lot of the low critic scores, but I don't really trust the Rotten Tomato system to begin with. So is this a great film? No. Is this a good film? Yes, but I'd say good with a lot of qualifications. I'd give this a 6.8, and I think I'm actually being generous. This is a little stronger than Black Widow. If Black Widow is kind of a above average action movie, this does try to go beyond that. The running time I didn't think was too much. I think for the story they were trying to tell, it was mostly well paced, and things I thought were going to be horrifyingly boring. They actually speed through this thing fairly quickly, and they do give enough time and attention to all the characters. The problem is the characters I really surprisingly wanted to explore more, like Droog or Makaria, they don't spend a lot of time on. And the Eternals I didn't really want to spend more time with, like Icarus or Cersei. They spent a lot of time on them. Thena is in this quite a lot, but the way she works is a little curious because they give her a few complications. So this is a very mixed bag. I will say on the positive side, some of the special effects were very, very well done, and the trailer didn't really highlight it. I'll just give one instance. When Makaria does her super speed powers, for the most part, it's very plain and simple, but then they do a few things which were really, really spectacular. And a lot of the deviants and their designs are very kind of ho-hum, but in some shots, they look great, they look spectacular, but they don't really build on it. And there are a few inconsistencies within the story, because again, they're trying to do a few plot twists. Some of them are not going to work at the end, and some of them do hold up. All over the place, it's very, very mixed. Some performances were strong, some were in the middle, some were very weak. Some of the jokes were really strong, some of them were midway, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the pattern. Like a third of this is really well done, and for a Marvel movie was pretty interesting and refreshing. One third of it was pretty much just meh, totally down the middle, just competent, not good or bad, just competent. And one third of this really dragged and was pointless. They didn't need to go through this. It was very repetitive. It begs a lot of questions. But I gotta be honest, I am familiar with this a little bit. I know Gar, one of the deviants from the Marvel Comics, he was part of this major event called Atlantis Attacks. And I know some of the Eternals, like Cersei and Star Fox and a few others. But being mostly new to this, I was mostly satisfied. I did think it worked for the most part. And in terms if you're a Dune or Zack Snyder fan, you'll see a lot of little bits and pieces that they definitely took from Dune as well as the Snyder Cut. You can definitely tell she's learned a lot from Denis Villeneuve. I think Zhao overall did a fairly good job, but I think the only problem here is even though it does move away from the Marvel formula in a few places, and most of that was fine, it still is basically a Marvel movie, and it has a lot of the debilitating problems. But one thing I will say that stands out is the third finale actually was way better than most Marvel films. When they do the inevitable final clash, they're pretty boring and stupid, and I don't remember them. This one, for the most part, was really well done. There are a few weak moments in the finale, but overall, I thought it was really well done. Overall, it was pretty gripping and pretty well done. Still a lot of questions in terms of why characters did what they did, and convenient and miraculous events happen, but again, this is cosmic MCU, so you're going to have different rules. It is obviously very convenient that nobody ever found out about the Eternals. That seems pretty strange and silly. So my own judgment overall is this is an above average film, but it's not going to be for everyone. Some people are going to find this a little too boring, a little too repetitive with the Marvel formula. I think they did a fairly good job with what they had, but this definitely needed a lot of work with the plot, with the characters, with the performances. So it has a lot of problems, and I guess it'll depend on whether you think those are going to weigh down the score. So I'm giving this a 6.8. Would I recommend it? I would say this. If you have a choice between this and Dune, I'd say watch Dune first, then this. But if you are just a hardcore Marvel fan and you do want to see this, I don't think you're going to regret paying for the ticket. But it depends really what kind of Marvel fan you are. You're going to either think this is it was average, wasn't as bad as people say it was, or you'll think it's generally great and a really, really underrated movie. I'm sort of in between those extremities. I did like it for the most part, but it did have quite a few problems, quite a lot of cringe moments, but a lot of interesting little surprises, especially the minor characters were very effective. And I don't want to spoil it because, but basically, a driver of Kingo is very funny, and I think he was very amusing for most of the film. So a lot of hidden gems within this, but a lot of kind of cringe moments and weak moments, and that's where we are with Eternals. Thanks for listening.